This project is my Tiffany bracelet. I designed it about 3 years ago, but I thought it was about time I made a video of it. It's a great bracelet. It uses the crystal chatons and it's on a bed of right angle weave to support the chatons, and then they've been embellished on top. For this project, you're going to need size 10 Preciosa seed beads. I've used some rainbow brick colour ones here, sort of reminiscent of sienna really. I've got a clasp with an extension chain, 2 beading needles, some spider-lon beading thread to match, and I've got my chatons, and you'll need anywhere between 12 to 15 depending on the length you want to make your bracelet. Now a chaton, if you've not seen one before, you've got a 6mm crystal on the top, and on the back you see it's flat, but the other distinguishing thing is that it has 4 holes. So if you can see here, oops, flying around, it's got 2 holes on this side, and then it's also got 2 holes on the opposite side so that you can thread it on both sides. So without further ado, let's begin. I've cut 1.5 meters of thread, and I've put a beading needle on each end because I'm going to start off with my right angle weave using 2 needles. Now I'm going to first of all put on my clasp, and by holding the 2 needles together you can just bring your clasp right down to the middle of the thread. Then if you take 2 seed beads, 1, 2, and then just bring them down. I usually hold them on my finger like this, and then you can take your needle through in the same direction. Again, by holding the 2 needles together, you can hold onto those little beads, slide them down so that then they're sitting up against the clasp. Now we're going to separate our needles, and we'll be working on the 2 different sides. So the first thing I'll do is I'll pick up 1, 2, 3 seed beads on one side, 1, 2, 3 on the other, so you can just flip them straight onto them from the mat. Then I'll pick up another 3, and what I'll do here to create my right angle weave is I'll bring these 3 beads down onto my thread. Now my needle's at this end. I'm going to take my other needle and I'm going to come through in the opposite direction, 1, 2, 3, like that, and then I'll pull them both through. So again, I'll just pull up the threads, and now if you see, I've got this little triangle, and my my clasp is attached, and I've got this triangle. Now I'm going to start creating squares. So I'll start with my first square, and again, it's just easy. If you regard this as your base of your square, I need 2 sides, so each of those sides will have 3 seed beads, and this side will have 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. And again, I'll pick up 3 seed beads on 1 needle, slide them down, hold them on my finger, and again, the thread's going this way. I'm picking up my other needle and I'm going to be passing them through from the other direction. 1, 2, 3, like that. And then again, pull up my threads. Now that's going to create my little box. So you can see it there. I've got a base 3 on each side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 along the top. And this top one, these top 3 will become the base of my next box. So to create my next box, very easy, 3 on each needle, 1, 2, 3, slide them down a bit, out of the way, 3 on another needle, and it doesn't matter which needle you do it on, as long as you go back through in the opposite direction. Slide it down onto your finger, going in the opposite direction, we go 1, 2, 3, 3 beads and pull up the thread. You see how the threads are crossed, and then when you pull it up you have the next box. Now don't worry that they look a little bit higgledy-piggledy by now, because during making of this we'll be going back and up and back a few times and it will become nice and even. So I'll just do one more for you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, stab your finger. How many times have I done that? I don't know. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No blood this time, thank goodness. Going in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we pull them up. So I'm going to carry along until I've got to the other side of my bracelet, and I'll show you how to put the clasp on at the other end. To determine the length of your bracelet, you need to work out how many boxes you need at the back. Obviously, it's quite an easy way to do it. You can just make boxes and measure it around your wrist until you're happy with the size. Don't forget to add the clasp dimensions in, and to give you an idea, 25 squares makes a 7-inch bracelet, or 18 centimeters. If you add an extension chain, it gives you another 2. The other thing you have to consider with your boxes is the thing about this bracelet, as you see, the chatons, we want them to finish and end our bracelet with a chaton. But you need 2 boxes for every chaton. So you see, a chaton and one without, a chaton and one without, a box with a chaton and a box without. However, when we get to the end of the bracelet, we don't have a box without. So therefore you always need an odd number of boxes at the back, and the rule of thumb is double the amount of chatons. So here I've got 12 chatons, so double the amount of chatons minus 1, because we don't need that extra box at the end. So therefore 12 chatons, 23 boxes. I'm just pulling in my last box, and I'm now ready to attach my clasp. So I want to make it the same as the other end, where I've got this little triangle. So to do that, it's simply 5 beads on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 on the other, 1, 2, 3, and then the last 2 beads on this side I'm just going to hold, put on my finger, and this time I'm going through in the same direction. 1, 2, just a little hint, when you put beads on, because you don't want to split your thread. If you split your thread, then you have to pull it, you have to take your needle off. You just see I'm lifting as I go, and that will make sure that the thread stays free and doesn't, say that fast, the thread stays free and doesn't split, because when it splits, the only way to repair is to take your needle off your thread, and I always find that a bit of a bore. Okay, so now I've got my little triangle here at the end. I can just put my 2 needles together, pop it through my clasp, and then separately I'll come down these 2 beads again, and then I'll also continue down one side here. Begin to pull that up. I'll do the same with this, go through these same 2 beads again, and I'll also go down these 3 beads on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll begin to pull them all up. There we go, and make sure they're all pulled up, 1 and 2. There we go. So now I've got that there. Now I've still got quite a bit of thread on my needle, so I'm going to continue down. However, if you don't, you can knot off your thread at this point and weave it down a little bit and turn it off. I'll just show you how to do a knot. So you just take the needle underneath, bring it up to a small loop, take the needle through the loop like that, and then slowly bring it up so that that thread comes in between those two beads, and pull it tight so that's knotted. And I'll do the same with the other one, because then that's going to secure my, so come under the thread, pull it to a small loop, put your needle through the loop, and then bring it up. When you get close to the end, make sure it's sitting between the beads, and then just slowly pull up that and pull up that knot. Now that's secured that in place. And as I said, if I wanted to, if I didn't have much thread, I could just continually weaving down through the bracelet and making a few knots as I go and trim off my thread. But because I've got quite a bit of thread on, because I've actually only made this a shortish bracelet, is I'm going to now come through these 3 beads this way with this needle to bring myself into position to put on a crystal, and then these ones are going through these 3 beads in this direction and pull it up. So now if I'm just going to turn it over so I can work upwards. If I was bringing in a new thread, you can just simply put a needle on both ends, bring your thread through here to the middle, and you're ready to roll. Now I'm going to add the chatons next. So this bracelet is done in 3 different steps. You do your base, then you put on your chatons, and then you embellish them. So I'll bring in my first chaton, and this is the way that you do it with every single one. You put your needle, the left needle, through the left side of the chaton and bring it up, and then you bring your right needle through the right side. See the 2 holes? So that that's sitting like that on top. And then all I'm going to do is then cross my threads back through these 3 beads again. So this one goes this way, pop that out the way, and this one goes through this way, through those same 3 beads. 1, 2, 3, and that comes that way. So when I pull it up all the way, you will see that my little chaton sits on top like that. So the next thing to do is we need to travel down to the position of our next crystal. Now, as I said to you, the crystals go in every second box. So if I just, that's going to position here. So I need to just maneuver down to the next set of squares. So I do that by just going through the 3 beads on this side. Oops. 1, 2, 3, and across. 1, 2, 3, and then on this side, this needle, which I'll just take 1, 2, 3 down and 3 across. And now I'm back in position with my 2 needles to start again. Now I'll show you one more crystal doing it the 2 needle way, and then I'll show you a quick way. So I'm just putting my right needle through the right side, and then I can pop that through there, ready to go. Then I pick up my left needle, put it through the left put it through the left side, and this one goes through this way. So I'll just pick this up and pop it through there, through those 3 beads, and then again I can pull it up. I find doing it this way a little bit slow and tedious, so I'll just show you a faster method. So there we go, I've got 2 of them put in there now. Now don't forget, I need to move down to the next set. So I'll just go through 1, 2, 3, and then across, and I'm going to leave this other thread in position at the moment, and I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn sideways. I'll put this thread out of the way for the moment, and I'll pick up this one, and I've picked up this one and I'm ready to go into position to add this one. So if I make sure I just take one side of the crystal, slide it on, and then I can go straight through here in this direction, bring it up, and then just let the little fella sit there for a minute. Then I'll go along. I'm just going to work one needle at a time, one and down. I found this, doing it this way, a lot quicker. Pick up my next one, go through the crystal, go through the next cross, pull this up. I think you can see what I'm getting at here. Carry on to the next one, and I'm going to do this all the way down until I've added all of my crystals on this one thread. So I'll do one more, pick it up, put it through, make sure it's on the right side, go through here, and then move down along to the next set of 3 and the crossbar. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now once I've gone all the way down and I've got all my little crystals sitting in place where they should be, then it's very easy for me to pick up my other needle. And again, now I'm just here under this one. I need to move down and across. Now if you find it easier, you can do the 2 needle method so that you do one crystal at a time. So now that I'm in position here, it's just a matter of going through that crystal. Oops. Pulling up my thread and then going across the crossbar. So this way I'm just working one thread at a time and I can work a lot faster. See, that's in position. This one's only half done. So again, down through the 3, across. Now I'm in position to put the other side on. Put on the crystal, through the 2 holes, 1, 2, there it is, and then I'm at the crossbar again, go through the crossbar. So you can see it's a quite easy method to be able to get them all in place quite quickly, but it's up to you whether you do it one at a time or you go through and you do the lot. I'm going to put them on and I'll see you at the other end. So I've finished the base and I've put on all my chatons and they're all in place, and now I'm ready to begin to embellish them. I've got myself about 1 meter of thread, or maybe actually 1.5 meters is better, and I've just put 1 needle on. I'm going to thread through these N3 beads here, and I'm going to leave a tail of about 6 inches that I will weave in later on. Once I've gone through there, I'm actually going to go through the 2 holes of my chaton. Okay. Now, I usually hold my bracelet like this so I can work on the top of it without getting in the way of the other bits and pieces. I'm going to pick up, so see I'm coming out of these 2 side holes. get this extra thread out of the way. I'm going to pick up 4 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to take my needle down the other hole on the other side and across. Got the thread caught. The beginning's always a bit of a pain. There we go. That's why I hold it out of the way so it doesn't get caught. There. So I've got my 4 beads in place. I'm just going to hold them there. Then I'm going to pick up another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to jump over from this hole to this hole again. So go through this hole and then come across here through this hole as well. There it is. You can see it coming across there. So that will give me 4 beads on each side. And look, that tail thread. Okay. So I've now got my 4 beads on each side. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to take my needle through the 4 beads that I added first. Now don't worry if it's loose at the beginning, because it will tighten up as we go around. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to add 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go through these 4 that I added. I'm all thumbs today. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And now you can see I'm already 3/4 of the way around, and I'll add in 4 more beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that I have a total of 16 beads around. So now I'm going to pick up and go through these beads again. Now the other thing that I do is I now go around all the beads again to firm them up. Now you don't have to do this step, but I like to do it because it means that they sit nice and firmly around your crystal, and they all come together really nicely. One, 2, 3. So you can see as you go around a second time, they become firm. And then again, just through these last 4. Now I want to stop just above here, because I'm going to now come down and go through these 3 beads. So I'll go through these next 2. 1, 2. Whoop. Another stabbed finger. Nothing like a good horror movie. Okay, so you can see here, I'm just going to bring my thread down and through here, through these 3 cross beads. You can see there's the next. See, that's our central bead with no chaton. I'm going through the cross beads, and then I'm going to work my way down to the next chaton. One, 2, 3. Now I'm not going to go, I'm going to cross again because I don't want to cut my thread across here. I'm following what's called the thread path. So I'll go through these 3 again, and you can see because you're going through this bracelet quite a few times on the base, it becomes nice and firm. Now I'm in position again to go through my next chaton. So I'll go through another embellishment and show you another one. So I'm coming out from this side of the chaton. I'm picking up 4 beads. I'm going down through this side of the chaton and out the other. Picking up another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming back down this side of the chaton and out the other. Now I'm going to go through those first 4 beads again. 1, 2, 3. fourth one. Don't worry if it's not tight first, it will be. So now I'm going to pick up 4 beads and jump across to the other 4. Now I'll go through these 4 beads. 1, 2, 3. See, they're a bit loose at the moment, but it doesn't matter. It'll firm up in a second. Once I start to pull it in, pick up those last 2. And you can see, because they're loose, this is why, see, I'm just bringing up my tension now. This is why I go around again, because it firms it up and makes it complete. Last 4 beads over to this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then around all we go again. So see, as I pull it up, you can see it's nice and in position, but by going through all those beads again, and going around again, it just firms it up and makes it nice and tight tension. Nice firm line around there with no thread showing. It just helps to bring up your tension. There we go. So now I've got a nice firm tension and I'm in position to come down, and I'm going to go through these 3 crossbars again. So down through there. There we go. So you can see it down there. It's nice and firm, and now I'll just carry on down one side and across, and oh, I've lost my thread. Go across, and then you're ready for your next chaton to go through there. So I'll just rethread my thread and I'll continue on down until I've got them all done. Here's my finished bracelet. I've embellished the top all the way along. I've got my crystals at each end and my clasp, and it's ready to go.